This is Gemara Shavuos Daf Mem Dalid, and we're holding on Mem Gimel Amid Beis. We're about 10 lines from the bottom. The first one line is Avad Kata Avad Kule, and we start Tinan Sela Ilvisicha Love V'Shekel Yeshave. We like all learning once again to be an incredible schos. Rafua Shalema for Tinoik Ben Miriam Ahuva. We're now going to ask a kasha. And this kasha is going to be pointed particularly at Shmuel, but as we'll see, this really is a kasha on all the aforementioned opinions. So says the Gemara we learned in the Mishnah, Sela v'sicha alav, he claims they lent you a sela and it was worth a shekel. And the other one says, and again, the case is Sela v'sicha alav with a mashkain. The mashkain is lost, and it was worth a shekel. And therefore, the taina is between the shekel and the sela, which of course is another shekel. There's two salayim, two shkalim to every sela. And the other one responds, Loiki elasela visini olav shosha dinarim yeshave. It's true that you lent me a sela, but it was worth 3 dinarim. So I only owe you 1 dinar. Halacha is chayiv, he has to swear a shvua as a classical maidim and mixas, as he admits to owing 1 dinar. So ask the Gemara, but according to Shmuel, why can't the borrower say you accepted this item as a mashkin for the entire halva, for the entire sela? So if the mashkin was lost, I don't owe you anything. Explains the Gemara, Masnisan b'deparish, Shmuel b'deloi parish. There's a simple chelik between this case and the case of Shmuel. In the Mishnah, he said explicitly that he's accepting responsibility for the mashkin to the extent of the value of the mashkin, whereas here it is not. So says the Gemara, okay, no kasha, b'lema kitanoi. Let's say that the aforementioned din of Shmuel is a machlokes tanoim. 9 lines from the bottom says the Gemara Mavas Chaveroi ala mashkin va'avad mashkin. So lends his friend on a mashkin, and the mashkin is lost. Yishava v'yitel as ma'isav divrei Rav Eliezer. Says Rav Eliezer, the malva makes a shvua, and then he collects the money. Rabbi Akiva Omer Yachlu she'emer like klumel v'sinu avel al mashkin. He could say no. Did I lend you only on the mashkin? Therefore, avad mashkin, avad ma'isecha. Aval however amal ve'alev zuz bishtar. Let's say a case in which one lends 1,000 zuz on a shtar. V'iniach mashkin biyadai. And what happens? And he leaves. And not only is there a shtar, but there's also a mashkin. Divrei hakol then avad mashkin avad avdai ma'isaf. End of Mishnah. Now the machlokes of Lezer and Akiva explains the Gemara. Heichi dami, what is the case of this brisa? Which Rav Eliezer and Rav Akiva are arguing. Shavi shir zuzi. If the case is where the mashkin is worth the value of the money that was lent, says the Gemara, my time of the Rav Eliezer. If the value of the mashkin, as we turn over to Mem Daled Amud Aleph, if the value of the mashkin was the same as the value of the halva, what is the reason for Rav Eliezer? Even Rav Eliezer should be maskim, that the malva does not collect anything if the mashkin is lost. Elalav, what must the case be? B'deloi shavi shir zuzi. So what's this machlokes of Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva? Says the Gemara, seemingly it's a machlokes b'dishmuel kamifligi. They are arguing in the case of Shmuel, and therefore it's going to come out that the machlokes of Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva is the machlokes whether we hold of Shmuel or not. Rabbi Eliezer argues on Shmuel, Rabbi Akiva holds like Shmuel. Explains the Gemara, Loi. Really, it's b'deloi shavi. and then Kuli Amalas Lu Shmuel. So what's the machlekes? The case is where it's worth the same value as the Ahavah. So what is the machlekes? Whether we hold of Rabbi Yitzchak. Damar Rabbi Yitzchak, 5 lines down. Minayim the Baal Chayv shekoinem mashkoyin. Says Rabbi Yitzchak, the Baal Chayv, the creditor, acquires the mashkoin while he has it. The Levi gives a mashkoin to guarantee the loan. The Malveh, when it is in his possession, is considered as if it is his. How do I know? Says Rabbi Yitzchak famously, it should be for you a tzedakah, a righteous act, a charitable act. And I mean, a kind of mashkin tzedakah minalan. What's the tzedakah? What's the charitable act to give back to mashkin when he needs it? If it's not his. And therefore, says Rabbi Yitzchak, famously based off of this, mikan from here, Shebal Chayv, Shekoinem Mashkin, that the Baal Chayv acquires the Mashkin. So says the Gemara, really, Lema de Rabbi Yitzchak Tanoi? Are you suggesting that Rabbi Yitzchak is a machlekes Tanoim? Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Akiva, they're arguing whether we hold of Rabbi Yitzchak or not. Says the Gemara, V'tizbra, but does this make sense that they are really arguing about Rabbi Yitzchak? When did Rabbi Yitzchak say he's in? Only in a case where the Malva took the mashkoin, not at the time of the Alva. And therefore, that's where Rabbi Yitzchak says is chiddush, that it's considered owned by the Baal Chayv. But mashkinai b'shas alva mi amar. If the mashkin is given b'shas alva, when the loan is given, mi amar, does Rabbi Yitzchak ever say is halacha? And Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva, they are talking about a mashkinai b'shas alva. So it cannot be that they're arguing about the case of Rabbi Yitzchak. So says the Gemara, so what is the machlekes Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva? Elamashkanai shlebish hasalvasai kuliyamalai pligi distal Rabbi Yitzchak. In a case in which the mashkin is given not at the time of the alva, everyone agrees, like Rabbi Yitzchak, that's considered owned by the malva. V'hacha b'mashkanai b'shas alvasai u'b'shomer aveda kamefri. The machlekes over here centers around the din of a shomer aveda. That what the itmar on the last line. Shomer aveda. What is the status? Someone watching a shomer aveda. Rabba Amar Rabba says kishomer chinam. And as we turn over to Mem Daled Mem Beis, as we see the end of the parak, comes along Rabba to shomer chinam, where Rav Yosef Amar says Rav Yosef kishomer sachar dami. So says the Gemara, this is what we could say is the machlekes Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer. But ask the Gemara, Lema de Rav Yosef Tanai. Are you telling me Rav Yosef is the machlekes Tanai? Loi. B'shay merav v'ida kuliyama. Everyone would hold Islay the Rav Yosef. Everyone holds the Rav Yosef. V'acha b'malvet tzarich le'mashkoin kamiflegi. A good chazar and all the Yisaidais, where the mashkoin, where the malva, needs to use the alva. Incorrect. Needs to use the mashkoin, and he says when he's allowed to, he would like to. So Mar Savar explains the Gemara. Rabbi Kiva holds mitzvah ka'avid. Rabbi Kiva holds that the malveh performs a mitzvah by giving him the halva. Therefore, he's considered a what? A paid watchman with regard to the mashkoin. But Umar Savar, Rabbi Eliezer holds no. Lav mitzvah ka'avid. It's not considered a mitzvah as being done. Therefore, it's considered a shomer chinam. So says the Gemara, that would be the machlekes. That's what the machlekes of Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva stems from. So based off of that, 6 lines down, says the Gemara, let's go back to Shmuel. Lema ketanoi. Let's say that Shmuel is a machlekes tonight. As we see in our Brayisa, Mavas Chaver Lamashkein V'nichsa Shmita. And Shmita comes. Even though the mashkoin is only worth palga, half of the debt, einoi mishamit. Still, the malva does not rescind. The malva still has to get back his money. Divrei Rashbag, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi Omer, Im haya mashkoin kineged chayvoi. Says Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, if the mashkoin is worth the chayv, the debt, ain't a mishamit, then there's still the alva. V'im lav, then shmita is mishamit. Says the Gemara, what does this mean? My ain't mishamit to come to Tanakama. What does the Tanakama mean? Or Shimon Gamliel when he says shmita does not cancel it. Ilema kinegdai, if it means that only in accordance to the value of the mashkoin. Then Mechal Rav Yisrael Nasi Saver connected on Mishamet. Rav Yisrael Nasi holds even that is yes Mishamet. Difficult to understand. Ella says the Gemara, Amai Tov is Mashkin. If that's the case, then what benefit does he have by bringing a Mashkin into the story at all? Ella Lav Keneged Kuloi. And this is the Machlekes with the Shmuel Kamifli. So says the Gemara, maybe that's the machlekes Tanoim, and the answer is the Gemara, Loi, Loilam kinegdoi. What's the machlekes? What kamiflegi Tanakama savar kinegdoi, Rabbi Nasi savar kinegdoi nami mishamet. Kamer lamai tafasle, and we ask, so what benefit is there? Mashkain lizikara in dvarim ba'alma. It's a reminder of the loan. You're right. There's no real halachic difference, but it's a reminder of the loan. And with that, we dive into the 7th parak. We're just going to do a psicha, beginning the Mishnah. As we see the end of this Masechta a few days away, Kol HaNishbayim Shabbat Torah. Any shvu on the Torah Nishbayim v'loy mishalmin, you swear and you don't pay. Ve'ilu, but the following break the rules, and Nishbayim v'noylin, you swear and you take. Hasachir, a renter, Hanigzal, someone that was stolen from, Vanechval, someone that was damaged, and if the other person is suspected on a shvua. V'chenvani al pinkasai, or a storekeeper on his ledger, literally. Continues the Mishnah. Hasachir kitzad, what is the case of a hired worker? Amar lo ten li schari sheyesh li biyadcha. The worker tells the employee, give me my wage that you owe me. V'omer nasati, already paid you. V'omer lo natzleisi, I never took it. Hu nishba v'ino, till he swears and he can collect. Rav Yehuda Omer achetei shem mikzas hayda. Says Rav Yehuda, no, they're only going to have a shvua if what? It's mixed like it's an amar lo ten li scharu chamishim dinar. Sheyesh li biyadcha. V'omer is kabalti dinars off. That's going to be the case in which it's going to be a shvua, says Rav Yehuda. Case number 2, Nigzal Ketzah. What is the case of a Nigzal, someone that was stolen from? If they give edus about someone that he entered into the house to take the mashkin shleiber shos. Hu amar, he responds, Kilai natalta, you took my utensils. Hu amar lanatas loinitz lacy. Hu nishba v'noitz lacy, and he takes it. If you don't mer, ashay shei mixas hayda ketzah. Amar lo shnei kelim natalisa. Hu amar loinitz lacy ala echad. Case number 2. Case number 3, Nechbal. Someone was damaged, Kate said. Eidos is given that someone entered his domain. And he left damaged. And the claim is that you damaged me. He swears and he collects. You have a partial Kate said. He's masking this a level of damage, but only one. What is the case of a kenegdai that is chashal al shvu? As we turn over to Memeyam and Aleph, and in truth we realize it's a very long Mishnah. So let's just begin and finish this case. The case of kenegdai nishba v'naita on the top line. It's either Shuas Eid, Shuas of his Adam, Ashil Shuas Shav, who Hayachem Mesachah by Kovia, if one of them is a gambler or Malvi Ribbis, he lends to the Ribbis, Bafricha Yavanim, he bets on the pigeon, Sechri Shvias, he earns the Shvias, Shekineg, and Nishav and Aitel. So he's not allowed to swear. Then the other guy swears and takes. Hayishneim Chashudim, then Chazu Hashulim, and Kaimai Divid Rabbi Yosi, the Kishua goes back. Ramea Merechal Yach like you split it up. We'll stop over here, we'll pick it up the case of Chanvini and Mirza Hashem.